Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review for A Wilderness of Stars by Shea Earnshaw. But before we go ahead and get on into the review, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as a little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new content. I post new bookish videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down the description box below for links to all of my social media and my Buddy Read Discord. A Wilderness of Stars is Shea Earnshaw's most recent publication, and it's a standalone YA sci-fi, very light sci-fi, and it's scheduled to be released on November 29th, 2022. And the reason that I say that it's a light sci-fi is because the sci-fi elements really aren't introduced in any heavy manner towards the end of the book to kind of unveil the mystery that has been permeating the entire story. Also, I feel like a lot of the scientific elements are more abstract and speculation than grounded in fact, and that is one of the things I'm going to discuss in this review. I am going to have spoilery parts to this review as well as non-spoilery parts, so I'll make sure to put timestamps down below so you guys can skip around to whichever portion you want to watch. In this book, we are following a girl named Vega, and Vega is known as the last astronomer, and she has been taught how to read and map the stars from her mother, and these skills and knowledge has been passed down from generation to generation of women in this world. And we soon learn that there's something odd going on with this world. Everybody is getting sick and slowly dying, and the population has been completely decimated. And Vega has been told when these two stars show up in the sky that it is an omen for her to make this journey to save the people of this planet. And these stars only appear once, I think it's every 100 years or so. So Vega sees this omen in the sky and sets off on her journey. However, a lot of people are looking for the last astronomer because there are rumors about her existence and that she might hold the key to a cure. So when people find out that she is real and see her, they will try and kidnap her or take her. And it's a very perilous journey for Vega. And Vega has been told that she needs to find someone known as the architect, because the architect knows the way to the sea, and he will lead her to the sea, and that is where she will find the answer to all of her questions and how she will be able to save humankind from this sickness. Another thing that Vega sees in the sky when she looks at it is this dark shadow that seems to be eating up other stars and light and planets, and she calls it the anomaly. And as the book progresses, we see this anomaly getting closer and closer. So essentially, this is a book shrouded in mystery that covers a journey of Vega as she is trying to get to the sea to save her people, and Shea Earnshaw slowly unveils the mystery of what's going on to the reader. I'm going to start off with the things that I liked in this book, and the first thing is Shea Earnshaw's prose. I think that she has quite lovely prose, and I read one other book by her, which is The Wicked Deep, and I remember thinking this book is incredibly atmospheric, and she just knows how to create atmosphere and just describe things in a very elegant, beautiful way. And she definitely, I think, got better in this book. I really enjoyed just some of her lines and the way that she described things, and just her word choice was just really good. But at times, I feel like it was a little bit purpley, kind of reminded me of Roshani Chokski, where she would just describe things with other things that you wouldn't equate to describing that thing, like his eyes smelled like twilight. That's not a real line, but just things that were kind of like, what's she trying to describe? So while I did love her prose, I feel like at times it was a tad bit overdone, but not enough to distract from the story. Another thing I liked was the mystery of this book. I really enjoyed how Shea Earnshaw created this mystery, developed this premise of, this faraway planet where this sickness is consuming them, and it basically and almost infected people and just disintegrated them from the inside out, and you kind of have this plague type situation going on, and Shea Earnshaw gives us little tiny breadcrumbs throughout the whole story before she reveals, the final mystery at the end. And that's honestly what kept me reading. I wanted to find out what was going on. I was in for this ride. I was on this journey with Vega. I was traveling across this land to the ocean to find out what the heck was going on. So I thought she did a great job setting up and unveiling the mystery to the reader. As for the things I disliked, there was this antagonist in the book named Hoyt, and Hoyt is the leader of this band of people known as the Theorists, and the Theorists are always trying to find the last astronomer so that they can force her to save humankind. and they go around brutalizing people who they think might know any information about the last astronomer. So they are very like ruthless and cruel and violent. And personally, I did not feel like this antagonist was needed at all. I don't feel like he added to the story at all. In fact, I thought that he took away from the story. I feel like the story would have been fine and just as good if the main antagonist of this story was the journey itself, was the consumption or the sickness itself, or the anomaly, or Vega herself as she's trying to overcome her internal struggles and get to the sea. Hoyt, to me, didn't add anything to the story. In fact, I really didn't even understand his motivations. For example, and this is a spoiler, so I'll put timestamps down below, but there was this scene where he kidnaps Vega. And I'm like, Vega's whole reason for existence was to read the stars, to travel to the ocean where there's supposed to be a way to save this planet of people. Why the heck would Hoyt kidnap her and force her to help him when she's already doing what needs to be done to save mankind? Like, I don't understand. It made absolutely no sense to me. I'm like, what are his motivations? Like, he wants to be cured? Well, yeah, she's gonna cure everybody. Like, it just makes no sense. And I don't know if Shea Earnshaw was just trying to add in a villain or an antagonist because she thought the story needed it, but she really didn't ground him in any real logical like motivations. Maybe he's just crazy. I don't know, but his actions just did not make sense to me. One thing I did struggle with was the pacing of this book. It's very slow, and I get that it's a journey, but it's very slow. From the beginning, where she starts out on her journey with Pa, and then when she meets the architect, it's just very slow. And then I would say the last maybe like 25% is where it really, really picks up. And I don't know, I did struggle through some of it. I did find myself thinking it was boring, but then Shea Earnshaw would throw in like a little tidbit of information that would keep me reading. But just be forewarned that this book has a pretty slow pace for a good 3/4 of the plot. Then we get to the mystery portion of this book, so I am going to be discussing the ending and a spoilery aspect to the end of the book. But we learn that the thing that is making all the people on this planet sick is a black hole, and there's a black hole that is slowly gobbling up their galaxy and will eventually get to their planet. And I mean, I guess that's an interesting premise. I'm not an astronomer, I'm not an astrophysicist. I know very little about black holes. But just from my understanding of them, you can't really see a black hole. You know that they exist because of how they affect matter around it. For example, light can't escape. So there is just some difference in light or no light or just surrounding matter. There's just kind of like, you can tell that something's there affecting it, but you can't actually see the black hole itself. So when Vega was saying how she was looking up into the sky, and she was seeing the shadow like looming over them and growing closer and closer, I was like, is that how black holes work? Could like you honestly look up in the sky and see one? Because from my understanding, you only know they exist because of how they affect things around them. So it was a little hard for me to get on board with that explanation. But like I said, I'm not an astrophysicist. I don't know if that's possible or maybe that is a thing. I don't know. I just had a little trouble believing it. And then we get to the absolute ending of the book. So Vega, escapes her planet. She's the only one. She escapes right before the black hole sucks everything up. And she gets to, this other planet where her star chart was set to take her. And she tells the people there that the black hole will eventually consume them too. But according to the last astronomer on their planet, things can survive a black hole and can actually pop out on the other side. And once again, I don't know if this is possible. And the little bit I know about black holes is that they kind of consume everything because of their strong gravitational pull. Nothing can escape, not even light. So I'm like, how could her planet just pop out on the other side, like it's going through like a cloud or something? And everybody that lived on that planet, survived and it's like hunky dory, and they didn't, go through this massive black hole. And I just really struggled with that explanation and how she ended the book with that explanation, because in my head I'm like, I don't know if this is possible. Even if it is possible, is it grounded in any science or is she just making it up? I don't know. So So if any of you out there know anything about black holes or astrophysicists or anything like that that can educate me on if this is a possible thing, please let me know, because I just struggled with believing that that was possible and that she possibly could have ended the book on that note. All right, you guys, that is it for my review for A Wilderness of Stars by Shea Earnshaw. I had a good time reading it. I thought it was entertaining. I didn't absolutely love it. It didn't blow my mind. I wasn't in love with the characters. I thought the premise was super cool. I really liked the ending where she incorporated and expanded upon the sci-fi aspects. But once again, I still question some of those sci-fi aspects as if they are actually possible. Maybe we don't know. We definitely don't know. So I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5 stars. All right, you guys, let me know in the comments if you read this book and what you thought of it, or if you plan on reading this book in the future, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye.